Across the vast steppes of Asia, a storm once rose, a storm called the Mongol Empire. When Temüjin was born, his father Yasuge was a chief of a small clan in Mongolia. But being born under an ill omen, Temüjin's early life was marked by tragedy. When he was just 9 years old, his father was poisoned by rivals at a peace negotiation. With their father gone and now branded outcasts, young Temüjin and his family struggled for survival. They were betrayed by their allies, hunted by their enemies, and finally captured. Only Temüjin managed to escape, returning to find his family gone, his home destroyed, and his sister, whom he loved like a wife, taken by rival warlords. Genghis, meaning ocean, was an apt name for the boy who would become the ruler of the biggest ocean of land ever known. He was born into hardship and strife, a life many knew too well in the fragmented and chaotic lands of Mongolia. In those times, Mongolia was a land of tribal chieftains, each vying for power over the endless grasslands. Young Temüjin, though, yearned for more than the endless cycle of raids and feuds. He wanted to unite the tribes under one banner and create an empire that would span the world. After a decade of struggle, he managed to unite the tribes of Mongolia under his banner, uniting them under one law and one leader. In doing so, he changed his name to Genghis Khan, which means supreme leader. It was a title well earned. The road to power was paved with battles, betrayals, and the corpses of enemies. By the time he ascended to the title of Khan, Genghis Khan was battle-hardened and his eyes were set on empire. Genghis Khan built his army from the ground up, training them in new techniques of war. Under his guidance, the Mongols developed new weapons and tactics, mastering the art of riding and archery, enabling them to strike with deadly precision, while charging full speed at their enemies. This mobility allowed the Mongols to travel quickly and easily across the vast distances of their empire. No terrain was too difficult for the Mongol cavalry. Whether thundering across open plains or scaling mountain passes, they were a force to be reckoned with. Genghis Khan also implemented a merit-based military structure, promoting soldiers based on their skills and bravery rather than their social status. This created a highly efficient fighting force that was loyal to the empire and its leader. Genghis Khan was a brilliant strategist and tactician, and he used his knowledge to great effect on the battlefield. He was skilled in deception, infiltration, and psychological warfare, often using these tactics to gain the upper hand against his enemies. He was also a master of logistics, ensuring that his troops were well supplied and supported during long and arduous campaigns. Under his rule, the once nomadic Mongols became the most feared warriors in the world. From 1206 until his death in 1227, he conquered much of northern and central Asia, defeating the Kara Khitai, the Western Shah, and the Quraysh Empire. Each step of his conquests was written in blood, staining the grasslands and deserts of Asia with the crimson tide of war. Cities trembled at the very whisper of his name. To those who surrendered, Genghis offered generous terms, granting them autonomy and even integrating them into his empire. But to those who resisted, he brought only annihilation. During the conquest of Khwarezm, entire cities were leveled and their populations slaughtered, sometimes numbering in the hundreds of thousands. The blood of the slain reportedly flowed into rivers, turning them red as rubies. As Genghis Khan led his armies across the vast Eurasian continent, tales spread of his ruthlessness. Historians record that he delighted in cruelty, reportedly piling the skulls of his enemies into pyramids to serve as grim monuments to his power. But perhaps his greatest weapon was fear itself. The mere rumor of the Mongol advance was enough to cause entire cities to surrender without a fight. For some, resistance was futile. Others chose submission, offering their cities as tribute to the mighty Khan. The Mongol Empire was not just a destructive force, but also a catalyst for cultural exchange. Under Genghis Khan's rule, merchants and traders from across Asia and Europe could travel safely through the empire's vast network of roads, which became known as the Silk Road. This trade route facilitated the exchange of goods, ideas, and technology between the East and West. The empire's religious tolerance also contributed to the spread of knowledge and culture. Genghis Khan himself was a follower of Tengriism, a Central Asian religion, but he respected and protected the right of his subjects to practice other faiths, including Islam, Buddhism, and Christianity. By the time of his death in 1227, the Mongol Empire stretched from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe, making it the largest contiguous land empire in history. His descendants, Gedai Guduk and Manjay, continued the conquest of his empire, battling against the Song dynasty in the south and pushing deep into Europe. Though the Mongol hordes eventually withdrew from Europe after failing to capture it, their legacy of destruction remained. From the banks of the Volga River to the shores of the Pacific, the Mongols left their mark on history. A legacy of both terror and cultural exchange that continues to fascinate and intrigue us to this day. The Mongol Empire serves as a reminder of the incredible power and impact of one man's ambition and the lasting effects of war and conquest.